Welcome to Lunchtime Politics on Channel Television. I'm Millicent Walker. On the news this hour, all is set for the All Progressives Congress governorship primaries in Kogi State as 10 governorship aspirants jostle for the party's ticket. Is it a promising fallout from the Tokyo International Conference with African leaders poised to make the African continent an economic giant? We find out. Plus, the Inspector General of Police moves to forge a stronger security network with Interpol in order to nip trans-border crimes in the bud. Welcome everyone to the program. We begin today with news of the All Progressives Congress APC governorship primaries in Kogi State as 10 aspirants jostle for the party's ticket while 6 others were disqualified. We hear that aspirants have started arriving with accreditation ongoing at the Conference Stadium, Lokoja. The conduct of today's primaries is in anticipation for the November 16 governorship race in the state. In a statement signed by the National Publicity Secretary of the ABC, Mr. Lanre Saonilo, the aspirants who were cleared include Yahaya Bello, the incumbent governor of Kogi State, Hadisa Ibrahim, Yahaya Audu, Sani Lulu Abdullahi, Engineer Abubakar Bashir, Engineer Dandami Mohammed, Yakubu Mohammed, Hassan Abdullahi, Ekele Blessing, Babatunde Irukwera, what seemed like a last-minute addition. And those not cleared include Professor Mohammed Onali, Usman Jibrin, Mustafa Mona Audu, Rakia Ibrahim, General Patrick Akpa, Mohammed Abubakar Audu. We'll just ask the governorship aspirants to brace up for the All Progressives Congress indirect primaries in Lokoja, bringing the number to 10 out of 16 that purchased nomination forms to contest in the election. There is still brewing some tension amongst the aspirants that were disqualified. Well, we have joining us from Abuja Studios a legal practitioner, Emmanuel Ayingbulam. He's also the director of Center for Africa Parliamentary and Constitutional Studies to dissect the issue. I'd like to thank you for joining us. But first, let's look at those who were disqualified. The screening committee and the National Working Committee report said the party's guidelines and the Electoral Act were relied upon to make those decisions. How would you assess the process?
Well, the issue is this. Looking at the process itself, one may feel that the parties seemed, the party's mindset is that they are working towards a predetermined goal. If you can watch from Monday till yesterday, the series of elimination that has now led to the last list. But one thing we must bear in mind is this. The only avenue to contest election in Nigeria is through political parties. The Supreme Court in 3 decisions, which I must cite now, even in Second Republic, Onoha and Okafor. Then, within this republic, the case of Lado and CPC, as well as Dahatu and Turaki, the Supreme Court said that no court has jurisdiction to adjudicate on the issue of a candidate a political party will present or nominate for election, that it is a domestic or internal affair of the party based on its political party's guideline and the constitution. But the only remedy for any person who is disqualified may be seen from the Section 87, subsection 10 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, which provides that an aggrieved party can go to a federal high court or a state high court to challenge the procedures if it is not in compliance with the party's constitution and guidelines. So the issue at the moment is that it is not an issue within the court. After they have concluded their processes, now an aggrieved party can do that. But like I said, there seems to be a projected or targeted mindset that has eliminated some people, because You will not start a process for a November election just 3 days ago if you want to give every person what? A level playing field.
Right.
But like I said, the position of the law is that this is a domestic or internal affairs of the political party.
So political party is supreme. Today's primary is expected to take place via indirect primaries, and this according also the latest court decision. Are you happy with this choice? Some have said it's it's like going back. It's a little anti-democracy. What's your take on indirect primaries, the mode?
My take is this, is like I said, transparency, accountability, rule of law are the cornerstone of good governance. Any sincere or objective appraisal of what happened in Kogi State, it looks worrisome to our political culture. Basically, let's take the United States of America, where the Democratic Party has started what? Processes for 2020 election, which is basically 18 months from now. Ours, we had a situation where everybody knew, as at the last election, that November, just 3 months away, there will be this election. Then you have moved it to this point without the basic what? Contestation. That's what I'm saying. Now the political party, yes, because it's supreme, has decided on what to do and now brought what? Internal voting arrangement. Like I said, seem targeted to work to an answer.
So is there something we can do?
It is not encouraging to them.
Is there something we can do to change this? Legislation, the time to make it more favorable, make it more democratic?
No, well, challenging it will not be through this process because it's only an aggrieved party who has lost out in this can go to court. Meanwhile, you know that the court calendar, the next judicial calendar will take off in October. So if you are going to a high court or federal high court by October for an election that comes up in November, well, it may not be the best of a gamble for any person who has fallen out on this. That's why we are saying that we have not attained the basic transparency, competitiveness, and contestation, which democracy demands. The political parties, they have come back, they have made 360 million from sale of forms. You will not see them again, including the briefcase parties, who will also contest. They will come back in 4 years' time. There is no program. There is no agenda, because one would have seen serious series of contests, intellectual and the rest of them, pertaining more especially to the pathetic state of that state itself, the salaries, infrastructures, and the rest of them, and then calling any person who is involved, most especially the incumbent governor, to give account of his stewardship through what? These brainstorming and the rest of them, that will now awaken the electorate to know what to do. So we have lost that. We are seeing the parties now conforming to a less than opposed doctrine that politics is the madness of the many for the benefits of the few.
So,
which is,
Mr. Yingwenam, let's look at the process now. Indirect primaries, it's beginning. We hear accreditation is ongoing, and that's the mode they've decided. If indeed we have delegates that would make these selections, what are the chances? Do you see other candidates standing against the incumbent, for example?
Well, even if they will stand against the incumbents, within this number of days' notice, we did not hear of campaigns and the rest, which you cannot do. The incumbent owns the state more or less, because the local government chairman and the rest of them, and you have not told us who these delegates are. He has been the sponsor of the party. That's why I said there is no level playing field. If it is local government chairman, they are in his shoe. If they are assembly members or members even of the National Assembly, they are all part of his own team. So I don't know who else within those other contestants will be able to stand up to this. And that's why we keep saying, when there is transparency, when there is openness, and when there is a level playing field, any person will see it and be convinced, because the reasonable man's conduct will come up and say that beyond reasonable doubt, just like there's the election of the National Assembly, Senate and House of Reps, we saw them, they went in there. And the votes were counted before every person. Nobody went to court. Whatever has been the issue, yes, the party was supreme, yes, but we have seen them contest and every person went home. So that is it. In this area, he who goes to equity must go with clean hands. And he who seeks equity must do equity. So it is time now for the political parties, especially PDP and APC, to show Nigerians that the social contract we have with them through our democracy to be credible. And more especially, the dividends of democracy. In somebody performing after 4 years, what do you show for what has come to the state? And where is there the need if we want us to renew this contract? On what basis and on what terms are we doing that or platform? This is what now is at stake in our electoral process. And like I said, until we come to that level, where you see the Americans for almost 2 years' notice, every person is saying what he has to do and what he can do to make the system better. And then you sell yourself to the electorate. Than now, more or less, moving them to your own planned destination, which is not the basic tenets of democracy.
We appreciate your time.
Election and rule of law.
We'd like to thank you, Mr. Emmanuel Anyegbenam, for joining us on the program.
Thank you so much.
President Muhammadu Buhari is assuring the international community that his administration will remove all impediments to private sector participation in sectors of the Nigerian economy through consistency, predictability, level playing field. The president gave this assurance in his remarks to the third plenary of the ongoing conference on Africa development in Japan. He told the gathering that the forum is important to Nigeria in many respects, promising to launch the Japan-Nigeria Business Facilitation Council on his return.
The forum is coming at a time when our government is implementing homegrown and private sector-driven economic measures that are predicated on good governance, infrastructure, and human capital development, as well as business climate reform. We therefore invite the private sector to come and invest in Nigeria. Nigeria has very attractive investment opportunities with some of the highest returns on investment. In light of the foregoing, Nigeria and indeed Africa expect much from this forum in terms of investment, considering the role of foreign direct investment in all economies developed and developing. Excellencies, furthermore, our administration has identified important sectors that are key drivers to the diversification of the economy. These include power, transportation, infrastructure, maritime shipping, agro-processing, mining, manufacturing, petrochemicals, food processing, and textile, among others. We consider these sectors as priority areas that will drive our economic agenda.
Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari. The federal government is alleging that the leader of the proscribed group, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, has a plan to establish an Islamic State in Nigeria. According to the government, the cleric had the full support of the Iranian government to achieve this aim. The allegations is contained in a counter-affidavit filed against the Ayman's motion challenging the Federal High Court's order of July the 26th proscribing the group. The matter is also before an Abuja division of the Federal High Court, with hearing of the motion fixed for September the 11th. Well, still to come on Lunchtime Politics, find out what the governor of Nasarawa State is doing to tackle insecurity. Please join us again.